What's up, collectors? Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be counting down our top 10 Walt Disney Animation Studios films, and I have my lovely wife Grace here with me today to do a top 10 video. Always love doing these. Don't get a chance to do enough of these on the channel, so thank you for joining me. Are you excited to talk about some Disney movies?
Ready as I'm gonna be.
But yeah, so Disney is a kind of a big part of our relationship going all the way back. I don't know if you remember this, when we very first started dating and we were showing each other different movies that we grew up with, we showed each other some Disney movies that we hadn't seen, and you showed me some that I hadn't seen. That's where the first time I saw Beauty and the Beast, and the first time I saw Pocahontas was when you showed those to me. And we also, when we were about to have our first kid, our son, who's 3 now, we, like, right when you were pregnant, before we finished popping him out, we finished watching we watched through all the Disney movies and all the ones we hadn't seen so we could prep for him. So a lot of Disney stuff in our history. A couple notes at the beginning here. We're only doing the Walt Disney Animation Studios films. We're not doing any of the Disney Toons studios, like the sequels or a Goofy movie, which would be on my list if we were, because the Goofy movie's awesome. Shout out to all the Goofy movie fans. And we're also not doing any Pixar studios, obviously. Not doing any of the animated films that Disney just distributed, like The Wild. Did you ever see The Wild?
No, I don't even know what it is.
The Wild is a crazy movie, but no, we're not including it. It wouldn't be on here even if we were including it. But yeah, I think that's everything. Like I said, this is our list in this current moment. Yeah. It's likely to change probably tomorrow or the next day. My list is always jumping around, but this is what it is right now. So without any further ado, what is your number 10?
Okay, my number 10 is a controversial one, which I know you are not a fan of. But I'm just going to start it out and say it is The Little Mermaid.
That's not controversial. Everybody loves Little Mermaid.
No, they don't. In the age of feminism, it gets hated on a lot.
Well, that's true. But the music, everyone loves the music.
Yes, the music is part of the reason why I love it. I grew up with this movie, obviously, so all those songs were songs that I sang throughout my whole childhood. And I don't see the movie in the way that everyone else sees it. People see it as like, oh, they shut her up and he fell in love with her because she couldn't even speak. Like, I don't see it that way. I see it as...
You're getting political.
Oh, yeah. No. I'm just saying...
number on the list.
I'm just saying, I see it as more of like, she was sacrificial of something that was important to her because it was important for her to experience this life that she really wanted. And in the end, she found someone who loved her despite her flaws. That's how I always saw it. So I think it's stupid that people judge this movie so hard and see it in such a negative way. But yeah, I love The Little Mermaid. I love the music. It was also like one of the first Disney movies that had like the little sidekick characters like Flounder and Sebastian, which I love and kind of became a staple, especially of like the 90s and on. So
still do that.
Yeah, exactly. So I love it despite what other people
I think what people's problem is, I don't know, I haven't even looked into this. Apparently you have more than I did, but I think people don't like it because they fall in love so quickly, like that he doesn't even they don't even talk. But that's just fairy tale.
But I'm gonna be honest.
It's a classic fairy tale.
I had a crush on Eric when I was a kid, so he was like my first crush, and he was animated. I don't know what that says about me.
Yeah, well.
You kind of look like him though, so it worked out for me.
That's lucky for me. All right, so that's a good pick. That's a good pick. We also rode the ride when we went to Disney World, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
And terrifying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I can't wait to
The week after we went, Ursula's head broke off, so that would have been horrifying. So glad I didn't experience that as a child.
Well, maybe it'll happen when we show our son.
Yeah.
We take him to Disney World finally. What is my number 10? Oh. Right off the bat, one that our son turned me on to, because I didn't grow up with this one. I watched it recently, like right before we had him, and then he likes it a lot. It is Pinocchio. Boom! What is it? 1942. I shouldn't start saying the dates because I'm never gonna nail all those. But this is a great one. This is a classic. I just read the book, the original book, by Carlo Collodi with my son. The
Very
novel.
different.
It took a long time. It took like 2 weeks, but he loved it. We got a nice version with a lot of illustrations, and he was hooked the whole time. And this does a pretty good job of adapting it. I think they cut out the stuff that they need to make it 90 minutes or maybe even 80 minutes back when they were doing these in the 40s. But yeah, 88 minutes. But I think it's great. I think there's some really cool animation in this one. There's really cool camera stuff in this one. I don't know if you remember. There's like a shot when he's going to school with Fox and Cat, where it's like a bird's eye view
Oh,
shot,
yeah.
and it follows them, and it's like a oneer as they like walk through the whole city, and it just keeps going, which is really cool. I don't even know how they did that even today. And then there's this really weird shot where it's like a worm's eye view shot, like from Jiminy Cricket as he's jumping. He's looking up at Fox and Cat, which is really cool. But I don't know, really cool animation, cool music. Music still holds up. Everyone sings No Strings.
Yeah. It was in a commercial recently for like Apple or something.
Oh, yeah.
For AirPods.
It was in Avengers Age of Ultron. All creepified.
Yeah. No, I love that movie. I actually grew up with it with my grandparents. I have several movies on my list actually that are there because they have such like nostalgia of watching them at my grandmother's house when I was growing up. And that's one of them. Although the donkey scene horrified me and I usually like turned it off at that point. So I didn't see a lot of the movie past that, but I've seen the beginning of it a lot.
Yeah, I wish I'd grown up with this one. I didn't grow up with it, but I'm glad that I get to live vicariously through our son.
Yeah,
now,
he loves it. He calls it Nokia.
Nokia. He does call it Nokia. And this is Jiminy Cricket. This is back when Jiminy Cricket was the mascot of Disney before Tinkerbell knocked him off the throne, because he's in this, and then he's also in Fun and Fancy Free later, which we just watched. Sorry, we just watched through because we've been watching through the package films. But yeah, I think that's everything. I love the story in general, and I think it's a good adaptation. I love that it's I love the whole style, like a cautionary tale, fairy tale, and I think that's going to work really well for Guillermo del Toro, and I'm really excited for his version that's coming out later this year.
Yeah,
because he always does stuff like that with kids and in danger and fantasy stuff. So I'm excited for that, and that's kind of why I read the book, and I want to rewatch a lot of the movies before that one comes out, so I can build up some hype for it. But I'm excited for that, and that's my number 10, Pinocchio.
All right. We on to number 9.
What is your number 9?
My number 9 is a nostalgia one for me, specifically with my brothers. We actually had a cat named after a character in this movie, and it is The Rescuers. Not so much the second one, although I did love it as a child.
Not as good. Not as good.
No,
the first
not
one's
as
great.
good.
Wait, it's not just a nostalgia. I like the first one.
Yeah, but it's not a very well known one. Like I don't feel like a lot of people grew up with this one. But it was just one that we just happened.
You showed it to me for the first time.
Yeah, we happened to have it on VHS, and I loved it. I am a sucker for like anything that it's like small little characters that are using everyday objects in like creative ways, like the comb for a ladder or the matchbox for a bed. Like Borrower's Secret Life of Arietti. Love that stuff.
Sure, she does.
Yeah. So I love this. We had a cat named Bernard after Bernard. It's actually his middle name because my brothers wouldn't let me name him Bernard. It was actually named Skeeter after the Doug character. Yeah.
I knew about Skeeter. I didn't know about
so his name was Skeeter Bernard Bowman. And I adored this movie. Also because it has New Orleans roots. Like they kind of go down to the bayou in New Orleans for a large part of it. And I grew up going down to New Orleans all the time. So that was just kind of a part of my family history. So I just really love that one. And
that's true. They did it before Princess and the Frog.
Yeah.
And there's even a crocodile. Well, there's 2 crocodiles.
And they were kind of scary. There's some pretty creepy things in that. Like watching it back with Judah.
Firefly character in that and Princess and the Frog?
Yes, yeah.
Firefly.
I think it's a dragonfly.
Oh, dragonfly, yes. Some weird parallels between these two. And then talk about parallels, the villain, whatever her name is like Cruella
Medusa?
de Vil.
I think her name's Medusa.
She's like one step away from a Cruella de Vil. She's terrifying in this.
Yeah.
And the kid being kidnapped and put. Talk
Yeah,
about Guillermo del Toro.
I did try to get my mom to rename me Penny when I was a kid because I wanted to be this little child. I thought she was so cute.
Yeah, the second one is. I guess we don't have to talk about it, but the second one is a step down, I think.
Yeah, it's still great. Still uses everyday objects in fun ways, which I love. But yeah, storyline
like
not as good.
Type movie.
Yeah,
but I think the first one holds up a little bit better. Anyway. That is great.
What is your number 9?
My number 9 is classic Alice in Wonderland. Another one that I did not grow up with, but I watched very, very recently with you and our son, and now I see why it's a classic. Very iconic. Literally every character is iconic. The March Hare. This is also a book that I like. I had read the book. I just hadn't seen the Disney version growing up, and I think it's not an exact adaptation. It does the stupid thing that I hate. We always have to do where it's just like a dream at the end and it didn't really happen. Like after Wizard of Oz did that, we do that with every kind of fantasy thing. And I don't love that. I wish it was just a straight up fantasy thing, but it's fine. It's really cool. You got the Tweedledum and Tweedledee, which our son quotes all the time with "How do you do?" and "Shake hands." Sings that song, which is hilarious. There's some other songs.
I don't even know. This is not one that I grew up with, but I have loved watching it in his eyes. It's been fun. But
yeah, they're not really memorable songs, but they're like story songs,
little tiny
little
songs.
stories.
Yeah.
I love the kind of vignette style storytelling where like it's a fantasy thing where she's just going into this little adventure, and then she goes up here and has this little adventure, and she goes up here. This is not my favorite adaptation of Alice. That belongs to Jean Svankmajer, who makes this bizarre, like insane, trippy stop motion one from the 80s, which I've talked about on the channel before. But I still love this one. It's still up there for me. And yeah, I feel like I have to justify it, but I don't think I do.
No, you don't.
It's classic. You got the Cheshire Cat, you got the Caterpillar, you got the March Hare, you got Mad Hatter. It's just really cool. It's really fun, and I think this and Pinocchio go well together. Both ones that I didn't grow up with. That's kind of why they're toward the end of my list, but I think they're really good, and I can't wait to watch them with our son more and with our daughter soon, who is almost 2.
She's getting there. She's starting to finally be interested in movies, so it's about to be fun showing her all this stuff.
Yeah. So Alice in Wonderland is my number 9.
All right.
Number 8.
That's my number 8. My number 8 is, I have a feeling, on your list too. I don't know what we want to do here, but my number 8 is Tarzan.
Oh, well, that's perfect because that is my next one.
Oh, that's your number 8 too?
That's my number. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So
right,
our number 8 is the exact same movie.
Okay, will you talk about it first? Since it's yours?
All right. So I have a feeling I like this movie for slightly different reasons than he does, but
all Phil Collins. She only likes it for Phil Collins.
I do love some Phil Collins. But no, I grew up with Swiss Family Robinson, which is one of my favorite movies of all time. And so anything that has like someone living in the jungle among wild animals, I'm gonna be in love with. So when this movie came out I was like, yes, I'm here for it. I also love Jane and Tarzan's relationship, and this is gonna be a common theme for me. I love like bold women who are themselves and don't care what other people think. You'll see that as I list some of my other movies.
This is a much better relationship.
Yes, I love their relationship just because he is weird and quirky and he sees the world in a different way, but she is like down for it and she is ready to just get in there and like make some animal noises and be weird with him. And
and she kicks him in the face at first.
yeah, but she grows and she loves him and she accepts him for who he is. And I just, as a girl, that is the reason that I love this movie. So
yeah, that montage alone is great, where she's teaching him how to speak and stuff. And I'm glad they did that because I think you read the first book too.
I did.
I had you read that when we first started dating. But yeah, I love the books, the Burroughs books. I haven't got too far into them. I think I've read like 4 or 5. But yeah, so like they had to condense that into like one little tiny movie because he lives with the humans for like a long time, long enough to learn how to speak English and read and stuff. But yeah, I love this movie. I just love apes in general. I don't know. That sounds weird. That's like my favorite animal. Like the Planet of the Apes movies are amazing. I love Tarzan. I love that kind of like Edgar Rice Burroughs adventure stories from the like the 50s, 60s era, and I think they adapt it pretty well. I like the music. I don't know if that's controversial.
No, I love the music. I love the music.
The music is great. You're gonna get copyright strike. Well, we're not even monetized yet, so that doesn't matter. But yeah, this also, we didn't even talk about this. Have we shown our son this one yet?
No.
This one's really dark.
It's later. So like you said, we're going in order. So that's like
99.
what, 98 or 99?
I think he may have seen parts of it, but like the cheetah murders his parents in the beginning.
It's very dark.
And then this is like,
but they have a really cool treehouse. So
yes. Well, and I like that kind of stuff too. Like I've read Swiss Family Robinson and like Robinson Crusoe, which that's based on, basically. And I love that kind of stuff too. But this also has, we didn't even mention Clayton, like the most horrible villain death in anything ever. He gets hung, and it literally shows his body hanging in the silhouette at the end. That's crazy. I can't believe they got away with that. Actually, 90s.
But he deserved
crazy
it.
time.
I'm just gonna say it.
We did not justify murder on this channel, but yeah, I absolutely love this one. I mean, I don't know if I almost said Rosie. What's her name?
Rosie O'Donnell.
Rosie O'Donnell. Rosie O'Donnell. I don't know if she's controversial. I feel like that might take some people out nowadays. But yeah, I she doesn't bother me, but it's probably because I grew up with it. I actually didn't know that Turk was a
her.
woman.
Yeah, until you watched it with me, right?
Very recently.
Yeah.
Because I always thought Turk was a boy, because I didn't know who Rosie O'Donnell was growing up as a kid. But you got Tantor's in there. You got all kinds of good stuff. Would Kerchak die? Spoiler alert. Oh, that scene gets me every time. Oh, and it's also really funny. All the Disney movies that bring in the British humor always get me. Like, I always think of when the grandpa leans on the boat and the whole thing turns. He goes, "Oh, by Jove! Don't know my own strength." That always makes me laugh every time.
I love yeah, he's great.
But yeah, so that was both of our number 8. So
That's
that worked
crazy.
out perfectly.
All right.
So what's your number 7?
So number 7 is Aladdin.
Fan favorite.
Yeah.
90s Renaissance.
The music alone for me would do it. But you got Robin Williams, who's just amazing. I spent my whole childhood just quoting Robin Williams lines from this movie. Like I
bet your parents loved you.
No one liked me. I love the genie. I love this movie. The like Cave of Wonders scene in and of itself. Like I could have a whole movie just like in that moment. Like I love everything about it. I know you said it didn't hold up as much.
Oh, don't throw me under the bus. I'm not going to say anything about that.
Yeah.
No, this was my absolute favorite growing up.
Yeah, I loved it.
It was my number 1. It came out in 92, the same year I was born. And this was my absolute favorite movie growing up. I had the Super Nintendo game, played it. This is the only Super Nintendo game that I beat like all the time. Like every time I played it, I beat it.
My brothers wouldn't let me play it, but I watched them play a lot of it.
That is a crime. We need to get a copy of it and let you play it now because it is a great game. But yeah, it's just not what I like anymore. Like I've changed as a person, and I feel like it's leaning too much on like the stand-up routine of Robin Williams, which is great and he's fantastic, but like
that's his MO though.
It doesn't have rewatchability for me as an adult, but I watched it a billion times as a kid.
Like it's one of those that I love, like all the princess characters that I love growing up, and I didn't realize this till I was making this list. But all the princess characters that I love growing up are very like headstrong women, and Jasmine is another one of those that's just like, no, I'm not going to do what you say. Like,
well, you're a 90s kid. I mean, you grew up with all these princesses, so that makes sense.
I love that. Like, I love that
sassy.
she was her own and she wanted to find true love as a girl. So, yeah. And Abu is also just amazing. Oh, yeah. So I wanted a pet monkey.
Abu and Carpet are probably still like the best sidekick characters of anything.
They're great.
So that's, speaking of just throwing me in a hole and burying me even more, my number 7 is on no one's list, but I freaking love this movie and I don't care. My number 7 is Chicken Little from 2005. That's right, this is a Disney movie. Have you heard of it? Probably not. This is from the first of all, it's a fairy tale. And everyone who knows me knows I love fairy tale stories, especially ones like this where they like reinvent it and kind of like turn it on its head. Just like, did you ever see Hoodwinked?
Yeah.
Hoodwinked.
You showed it to me. That was one of the ones we watched when we first started dating.
That's another one of my favorite movies, and it also does this where it retells the little Red Riding Hood story. Not Disney, but Chicken Little is great. It is. It's a fairy tale movie. This is during the experimental era, like post-Renaissance, where they were doing weird stuff and experimenting with 3D animation, like with Dinosaur, and this, and Bolt. And they also were like experimenting with, they're like dabbling in more like sarcastic, irreverent humor like this, and like the Emperor's New Groove, which is great.
Yeah.
They're like there's a little more sarcastic in this. It feels like it has a little bit of Toy Story rubbing off on it, which we didn't do previously. I don't know. I love the script. I love that it's like kind of like what you like. I especially like it's like a really fast talking script. Like everybody's talking super fast and like cramming in a bunch of little clever lines that you like blink and you miss them. You don't really notice them. I think the casting is perfect. I don't know who plays Chicken Little, but he is perfect as just this like he talks super fast. Is it Zach Braff?
I don't know. I have no idea.
It's someone like that where he just like talks super fast and he has like no confidence, but he's still optimistic and he's like this little tiny little guy who like they changed him to a guy in this. They thought that would be more of a problem to be tiny if you're a boy than if you're. I don't know how true that is, but I've listened to the commentary on this because I really like this movie. But I really like Sorry, you were gonna say something?
No, I was just gonna say, like, this is one that I definitely didn't grow up with or see. Like, when it came out, you showed it to me when we started dating, and I actually really do appreciate it. Obviously, spoiler alert, isn't on my list, but I really appreciate it. Our son was actually just watching it before we started filming this, and he was loving it. And I think it's just a cute story. And like you said, I think the dialogue is really good, and it's different from anything that Disney had done up until this point. So
Well, yeah, it stands out. It doesn't even feel like a Disney movie, which
yeah,
I kind of like about it. It feels, and also feel it's like a throwback to the original, like old 2D cartoons. Like they use the squash and stretch method, which is what you use to like shape 2D cartoons to get like character and stuff. Like if you watch there's like the scene where he hits the window and like splats down, and it's like they're experimenting with 3D animation, but they're using techniques from old like classic Disney cartoons. I'm talking like 30s and 40s before they started doing the movies, which I really like. It's a father-son movie, which I think just automatically makes it one of my favorite movies. I
yeah.
always like father-son movies. You got the father who like doesn't believe in his son, and he doesn't.
It's kind of heartbreaking.
Well, yeah, he doesn't.
That part hurts my heart.
He doesn't know. He doesn't understand his son. His son's so different than him, and his mom is gone, and he's trying to raise the kid by himself. And you got the Chicken Little character who's like I said, he's super optimistic no matter all these horrible things that keep happening. He keeps humiliating himself, and he's still really optimistic, and it's like infectious, and it makes it that much more heartbreaking at the end when he finally gives up. But then his father finally believes in him. Oh, gets me every time. I love the sci-fi homages. You've got the all the stuff with War of the Worlds in this movie. You've got even a good soundtrack. I don't know if you remember the soundtrack at all. There's a Bare Naked Lady song that opens it that I really like.
And you're saying it's a really good
Well,
soundtrack.
I like that song.
Okay.
And I also there's a REM song, obviously the end of the world. It's in here, and there's a really good Five for Fighting song that makes me tear up every time, where he's on the roof after the big thing. Anyway, I really like this movie. I watched this movie a million times with my brothers growing up, and I think it's really cool. I think it's a good melding of modern animation with classic. You can tell there's a lot of heart put into it. Even the baseball game scene is basically like Casey at bat.
Yeah.
Which I just talked about when I did the Make Mine Music video, because that's a little short that's on there. I don't know. I think these people love animation, and I think they put a lot of heart into this, and I hate that it got kind of forgotten and nobody likes it. But it's one of my favorites. It's my number 7?
Yeah.
Number 7.
All right. My number, we're on 6. I just make sure that's right. Yeah, 6. I think it's on your list, possibly further up.
Okay.
So, do we want to talk about it now? Should I just mention what it is?
What is it?
It's 101 Dalmatians.
Oh, yeah.
So, do you want to?
I'm gonna top that, and
okay.
We'll talk about it when
it comes up on his
on
list.
my list. But number 6 is
101 Dalmatians.
That's great. Didn't know you liked that one then.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, so my number 6 is another lesser known one, The Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad. Don't giggle. This is a fantastic movie.
No, it is. It is. No judgment.
Ichabod and Mr. Toad is awesome. I already liked this movie, or I like the Sleepy Hollow part of it. I like the Ichabod Crane part growing up, and I tried to watch it like every Halloween. I didn't have it on DVD growing up, but I tried to watch it like around Halloween time, because I think that's a perfect cartoon to watch around Halloween. It's perfect for that. And then now that I'm older, this is actually the Fun and Fancy Free combo pack, because you can't get this by itself on Blu-ray. But I am glad they released it in any form. But now I'm also a big fan of the Mr. Toad part, because I read the book The Wind in the Willows to Judah when he was like
a baby.
Yeah, he's a baby. He doesn't remember it, but I was reading books to him when he was just popped out, and Wind in the Willows was one of the ones that I read, and I didn't know how great of a book that was. That's like a really classic book. Like A.A. Milne, like the author of Winnie the Pooh, like was in love with Wind in the Willows, and he tried to mimic that when he wrote Winnie the Pooh, and he was like super high praise for that book, which I didn't know. And it's great. It's really cool. And now that I know that source material and I go to this, it's a different thing, because it's basically just the Mr. Toad story in Wind in the Willows. Wind in the Willows is kind of like Winnie the Pooh, where it's like a bunch of different characters. But in this one, it's a short. This is a package film, so there's 2 films in it, and I think it's the best of the package. Although I like Three Caballeros a lot, but and I like Fun and Fancy Free too. But I think that's probably easily the best of the wartime era films. But anyway, it's basically just Mr. Toad's story, and then Rat and Mole and Badger are just like they're only
Kind
in
of
it.
Yeah.
They're in it to support. They're the supporting characters. But I think one thing that's really interesting about this one is you've got two protagonists that are not very likable and not good people. Like they're it's very interesting. Like Mr. Toad is like an addict. He just hops from thing to thing, and he gets
control himself.
And he has to have his friends like drag him out and lock him up. Basically put him on what's that called when you like have to cut cold turkey withdrawals.
Yeah.
But so that's Mr. Toad, and then you got Ichabod, who's not really a great guy either. The only reason he's going for Katrina is because he likes
her cooking or
her
something,
mom's
right?
cooking.
Yeah.
No, her dad has like a ton of money. He's like super rich, and he wants to be rich.
It was something about food.
He's not that great of a guy either, but I don't know. They're both interesting. I think there's a lot of iconic stuff, especially in both, but especially in Sleepy Hollow. Like Gaston is basically just a ripoff of Brom Bones
100%,
in this, which Brom Bones is awesome. And he's not really the bad guy in this. They're both just kind of like
not great.
like they're both just competing for the girl, but it's neither really a protagonist. They got Bing Crosby doing the
voiceover,
the music and voiceover for this one. I love how Sleepy Hollow is told, because it's basically just Bing Crosby telling the story, and he's doing all the voices and he's singing. Mm-hmm. There's no voice acting, which is an interesting choice. But I don't know.
Yeah,
I think they're both great. I think it's a good combo with a British classic novel and an American classic story.
Yeah. And, that one was interesting for me because I actually grew up with my mom and grandmother reading me Wind in the Willows, but I never even knew this existed.
Oh, wow.
So until you showed me Ichabod and Mr. Toad. So it was like a whole new thing for me to like see it come to life and like have that little short story be on the big screen. So
yeah. And Judah absolutely loves Mr. Toad, and
he loves these.
He wants me to do Mr. Toad, which is where I sit him in my hands and I go and make like the beat up old car sound, like carry him to his bed and put him to sleep at night. So he's a big fan.
Alan also loves it, but she doesn't even know what it is, just for the record.
That's our daughter. But yeah, big fan of this one. This one actually jumped up my list after he was born, like quite a bit. Like it's all the way at number 6. So I love that one. If you haven't checked that one out, check out Ichabod and Mr. Toad. Go back to the 40s movies because they are great. Number 5.
So I think I'm looking at your list over here, and I think we have another tie.
Oh no! Oh,
my number 5 is Peter Pan.
Peter Pan. You got it upside down.
Fail. Sorry.
Peter Pan.
Yes.
Whatever shall we do? No, I mean, this is. Yeah, you talk
That's
about
crazy.
it first.
So it's your number 5 too, right? I didn't mess that up. Okay.
Number 5.
Yeah. So love this movie. This is my go-to comfort movie. DJ will tell you, like, anytime I'm sick or like super sad, this is what I watch because it's what I watched growing up. My mom would put on Peter Pan and bring me soup. I think it was mainly because it didn't have any like scary parts that she had to fast forward through when we were little. So she would just put it on because Captain Hook's kind of just like a fun villain.
It's pretty terrifying. He just shoots a guy because he's singing and annoying him. Like, that's pretty messed up. You don't really understand when you're a kid because it happens off screen.
Well, Peter Pan kidnaps little children, so let's not get into the logistics. And
Tiger Lily basically drowns in the water. Peter Pan takes his good old time to save her.
Look, neither one of them are great, which is what I realized when I got older. I was like, wait, Peter Pan is not exactly like a great hero.
No, he's kind of a jerk.
Yeah, he's kind of a jerk.
But which is good. Like, I don't know if you know this. Walt Disney he didn't like, because they did a good job of capturing that from the book, because he kind of is like
he is.
He doesn't really care about anybody but himself, and they did a good job of capturing that. But Walt Disney was worried because he didn't think anyone would like him because he wasn't likable.
Yeah,
but he was wrong, and it's
great.
Wrong. But
he was wrong.
He still is kind of unlikable.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, I just love this movie. I think it's so like magical, and like every kid is gonna love the fact that there's like this whole secret world that they can float off to.
Well, it's the same thing as Alice in Wonderland. It's like you go into your different stories. You got your mermaid land and your pirate land, problematic Native American land, and then
that was my favorite, but we're not gonna talk about that.
Such a catchy song. It's unfortunate, but it's a fantasy. I mean, it's fantasy world. It's not. It's a British's. The guy a kid across the pond who's fantasizing about all these things that he doesn't really know about.
Yeah. And one thing I always thought was so interesting about this is like Tinkerbell became like this iconic character But she's not even liked in the movie. Like, I've never understood why that became like such a big like
Well, yeah,
Disney
she's a
thing.
jerk too.
Because
But her and Peter have such a bond, though.
yeah, but like no one in the movie likes Tinkerbell. Like
Well,
until
Wendy
the very
tries
end.
to be
Yeah,
nice to her, but she's
yeah.
just mean. She's just mean back to Wendy.
Yeah, I do. I mean, you feel for her when she like gets captured and all that. But spoiler alert if you haven't seen it. But at this point, you should have seen it. So
weird that they changed the poison to a bomb in this.
yeah.
I don't know how that's less.
Yeah, it kind of seems way more violent. But
I don't know why that change was made. And they take out the whole "I do believe in fairies" thing. But again, just like Alice in Wonderland, this is not my favorite adaptation of this. I know it's yours, but the 2003 live action version is absolutely my favorite adaptation of the Peter Pan story. But that says a lot about this one, is that even though I like that one more, this one's still at number 5 on my list. This one's a classic one. I did grow up with this one. Obviously, we didn't even talk about the music. This one's cool because it's not really a musical.
But I mean, yeah.
It's like,
but it has a ton of little
there's
like
2 songs. There's the whistle song, and then there's the Native American song.
No, and you can fly.
Yeah, but no one's singing that. That's just the song.
Yeah. It's just good music in general,
yeah.
I guess. Yeah.
Really good music, really good score, and
Nana. Oh, I love Nana.
We're not getting a Saint.
I want a Saint Bernard.
That's a terrible idea.
She's such a good dog, though.
2 little kids. We're not gonna. Yeah, but it's a cartoon. What are you talking about? What else was I gonna say? Oh, also we bought 2 little wooden swords, and my son likes to fight with me all the time, like they do in the beginning of the movie, where he's Peter Pan and I'm Captain Hook.
You're always Captain Hook.
One of my favorite.
You're the bad guy.
Yeah, I don't know. We could talk about Peter Pan all day. That's both one of our favorites. That's why it's top 5. But we should probably get going because we still got 4 more. And you said let me go ahead and do my number 4 also, because it was your number 6.
Okay.
It is 101 Dalmatians. But I will let you talk first. I'll let you talk first since you had it first.
So this is one of the ones that I mentioned before, like that I watch with my grandmother all the time, like every time I went over to her house.
That makes sense because it takes place in the 60s movie.
Yeah, but it's one of those that I did not grasp the storyline until I grew up. Like, Cruella de Vil is trying to murder 100 dogs to make fur coats, which is really messed up. She would definitely be like put to death these days. But no, I just adore this movie. I do think it's a large reason of why I have anxiety, because even now I will watch this movie and I get so stressed out when the puppies are covered in mud, dressed as Labradors, and they're trying to get in the back of the moving truck. Like, it gives me so much anxiety when Cruella's just like watching them like slowly and the water's like dripping. Oh my gosh, it kills me to this day. But no, I love this movie. I think Cruella's horrifying but great villain.
Yeah, she's like the first time they did just like a normal person. Yeah, it's terrifying. Yeah, still horrible. Like, not Maleficent. And it's so like she's their friend.
Witch. That's what's so messed up. Like, she's Anita's boss.
Darling.
Like, it's so weird that she's like such a part of their lives, but she's this awful person. And obviously, I just love dogs.
I just love Roger's sarcastic.
Yeah, and the fact that he writes a song.
Oh, the song is
great. And our son actually used to request us to sing Cruella de Vil at night when he went to bed, which is just the weirdest.
Had to sing it every time before he went to sleep.
Weirdest nighttime lullaby in the world.
He loves this one. He calls it Dogs.
Yeah, I just want to watch dogs, which, I mean, I get it. That's why I love it. I love dogs.
I love this one. I love the 60s style artwork and even the title sequence at the beginning, the dots. I love that 60s art style. And the animation even mimics that too. Like, it has lines, and it's very sketchy, which looks really cool. I love the British humor. Like I said earlier with Tarzan, this one is totally British.
Yeah,
it leans totally into it. Horace and Jasper are hilarious. Roger is hilarious.
Which I also swear Home Alone is based on Horace and Jasper. Just saying. I mean, I've always thought
this was the original.
Yeah. So,
but. Yeah, I never realized. I had to really stop and think about why I like this one. I was like, do I just love it because I watched it so much growing up? This is the other one that I watched like a ton growing up with my brothers. But I don't know. I think it really is. It's such a simple story. It's basically just like an adventure romp. Well, you love crime stuff, so that's probably where
that's probably a large part of that.
And I'm not a huge crime guy, but I love just the like on the run adventure about like helping your fellow man or dog in this case.
Oh yeah, what's the dog thing called? The Twilight Bark. Yes, I love that.
But this is basically just the Grapes of Wrath with dogs.
Read that, so I don't know.
It's basically what it is. They're just traveling around and like you're just everyone's helping each other and trying to get through. And I think I think that's why it really resonates with me and one I go back to a lot. And it's very rewatchable.
Yeah, I agree.
101 Dalmatians is my number 4. Okay. Number 6.
And my number 4 is
number 3.
No, my number. I have one of my.
Oh,
top.
I see.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm looking at the stack.
My number 4 is
I will listen. I
The
promise.
Lion King.
Oh.
So obviously classic. If you don't love it,
I do love it. What are you talking about? Lion King's amazing. Lion King's probably the best made Disney film ever.
It's just amazing. Music is amazing.
Sabotage
I get
me.
chills every time the opening song. Still to this day, I will get chills every time it plays. It was the first movie I ever saw in theaters. Probably first movie I ever cried in. Maybe because I was scared. I don't know if it was so much because I was sad.
Theaters? That's
I did.
Pretty awesome.
I did. I saw it. That was my first movie I saw in theaters, and my mom was like, "Maybe I should." When Mufasa dies.
I think Bug's Life. Not until 98.
I remember seeing that one. But I just love it. Like, I love everything about it. I love the baboon Rafiki. I love Timon and Pumbaa. I love the story of him kind of like withdrawing because he thinks he's not good enough and then coming back to like help and become the man he's supposed to be. I literally look.
She has goosebumps on her leg just thinking about it. She's very, very in touch with her emotions.
I love this movie so much, and
it's incredible.
Yeah,
the animation alone in like the first 10 minutes is ever made, I think.
And the music, I know I mentioned it, but like growing up, I knew every word to every single song, and I still do. And I could jam to that in my car as equally as I could jam to any like bop these days. Like I just love it. I love The Lion King.
Elton John, I mean, doing the entire soundtrack.
Yeah.
Also did Road to El Dorado, which is an awesome movie, but not a Disney movie. Maybe we'll talk about that at some other point if we talk about DreamWorks. But yeah, it's incredible. Just missed my list.
Yeah, okay.
Just missed my list. Probably just because it's so popular. Like, it's on everyone's list. That little, like, rebel in me was like...
Don't care.
I have to push it off and put on something more obscure. But that's probably just an insecurity or fault of my own. Because it probably is, like, literally top 5 Disney movies ever made. It's fantastic.
Yep. All right.
My number 3. So you're one ahead of me now. But we're going to tie back up. My number 3 is the the classic, the first Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. One that I had as a kid, but I did not watch as much because it freaked me out. That's probably
so it's not on my list.
Jinx, the horrifying witch, traumatized me as a kid.
Mainly when she's like when she shows up in the window just out of nowhere. Apple.
It's amazing. It's so good. This is the first one. This is this is the perfection of like the classic golden age style of Disney animation. Like everything they did in the 30s with like the silly symphonies all culminates into this. This is back when animation was still more cartoony. Like the animals and stuff are very cartoony. It starts getting more realistic with Bambi. Yeah. Where they actually like studied real animals and tried to mimic it. So it starts getting more realistic after that. But this is still like, if you look at the animals in the Snow White scenes in the forest, they're all like very like, I don't know how to explain it besides saying cartoony. But if you look at some of the old silly symphonies, like the spring one or the old mill one, like the animals look just like they do in here, and I love it. You've got the dwarfs, which are adorable and lovable, and the songs are really, really good. Still hold up to this day. Like we still listen to
Hi Ho.
Yeah, we listen. I almost said Whistle While You Work, but that's a different one in the same movie. But Hi Ho, we listen to with our son all the time. I love that this is kind of the first. Well, this is the first fairy tale Disney did. Well, no, first full length fairy tale. Bunch of stuff. Pied Piper, Old King Cole and stuff. But this is like they reinvented Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, or it's not even the Seven Dwarfs. Snow White, Rose Red, I think is the original Grimm's fairy tale, but they reinvented it and they did such a good job that this is just what people think that fairy tale is. Nobody remembers the actual fairy tale, which is kind of sad, but also it's just a testament to how great of a job they did on it. One of the most terrifying villains, like I said. And
the only reason it didn't make my list is truly because it horrified me as a child. Like I would cry and cry. She's just like there's skulls and the base, like it's horrifying as a child.
Well, the mirror's pretty creepy too. I never realized that. He just in there? Was he a human at one time and now he's stuck in a mirror?
It's just magic.
Or was he always a mirror?
And the huntsman who tries to like murder her, like
and
it's so dark.
Literally a heart.
Yeah, had to steal her heart, and then he ends up just cutting out a deer or pig's heart or something and putting it in a
sheep's heart.
It's so messed up for a children's movie.
It's great. It's wonderful.
Okay, well, yeah.
And I think. I mean, this sets up the formula, which is a good thing and a bad thing because some of the lesser movies just kind of rip this off. But and the Seven Dwarfs is number 3. Very cool. Very good. I love it.
All right.
That's your top. We're in our
My
top
number
threes now.
3 is, I think, higher on your list, but my number 3 is Mulan. So we can just say that and then talk about it in a minute if you want to.
No, that's my next one, so we can go right into it. It's my number 2.
Oh, okay.
If you want to, because you have 2 left, right?
Yes.
So we'll just talk about. Okay, yeah, we're fine.
Okay.
Number 2.
And number 3.
Mulan. Oh my gosh, Mulan is so good. Mulan is the best. I think. Oh, you don't agree with me. I'm looking at your list. I was gonna say Mulan is the best of the Renaissance films, the '90s movies. For me, it's the top of the list, and it's already. Oh, the camera.
My bad.
It's already in good company in the '90s. We were making a bunch of hits, but Mulan is the top of that list for me. Talk about good soundtracks.
Yeah. Oh, I'll make a man out of you.
That top Disney song for me.
I mean,
Number
probably
1.
it's up there.
I started singing that at the lunch table in high school, and the whole table joined in, and it was glorious. I felt it was one of the coolest things ever. But it's amazing. I mean, what can you say bad about Mulan? Talk about sidekick characters.
Yeah,
Eddie Murphy's great. I think this is the beginning of kind of the downfall of the sidekick characters because they tried to. Well, actually, Danny DeVito's before this, right? Yeah, Danny DeVito's before. So they're hit and miss. I mean, nothing against Danny DeVito, but like the ones that tried, like the gargoyles. I don't think anybody likes the gargoyles, right?
I loved them when I was a kid. I don't know how much they stand up now.
I think Eddie Murphy's fine in this. Yes, he makes some pop culture references that are a little weird, but so does Genie, and everyone gives Genie a pass. So he's an ancient dragon god. He has all-knowing omniscience. He can make futuristic pop culture references, but. Yeah. Mulan is awesome for me. Obviously, I'm gonna love it because I'm a martial artist. My parents are martial artists. I grew up with martial arts all the time. China is so cool, and it's a Chinese war movie where they have to learn martial arts, fight the bad guys. It's super cool. Speaking of terrifying villains, I think this is the most terrifying villain in any Disney movie.
Most brutal film.
Shan Yu.
Sure.
I mean, do you guys remember that Shan Yu murders an entire village?
It's just a teddy bear
with women and children. With women and children in it. Like we just brush right over that. He just him and his Huns? Yeah, they're called the Huns. They just wipe out an entire village. Also, these 2 guys come up and deliver a message to him, and then as they're running back to tell the emperor, he's like, "How many men does it take to deliver a message?" And then the archer's like, "Just 1," and shoots a guy off camera, but still. Shan Yu is terrifying. Mulan's great. Mulan's the best Disney princess.
Okay, so no, I'm not gonna fight you on that. Obviously, she is one of my favorites. She is the first Disney heroine, and for that reason, I absolutely adore her. I wanted to be her as a kid. Like I said, I love a defiant princess. So I actually tried to cut my hair with a butter knife when I was a kid. Luckily, it did not work because I wanted to be like Mulan. But no, I just adored this because I just love how like strong of a character she is and defiant. Like I don't give a crap. Like I'm gonna do what I have to do for my family. And
well, yeah, family's huge for you.
Yeah, and so I love.
I don't care about family. Her, she's a big family person. No, I'm kidding. But,
So I love this movie because she just kind of like gave up everything and dedicated herself to this cause. And
it's for her family and for her country.
Yeah,
she's patriotic too. She checks all the boxes.
And I just also love that she's like the whole beginning, like reflection, like she's like, I am not a lady. I'm not meant to be this like woman and paint my face every day. Like I love that.
Well, yeah.
So
she's like a goofball.
Yeah,
in the beginning, which is great.
So I love that
Little
she's
brother.
just undeniably herself. So
I
love that.
Well, yeah, and I love the Matchmaker song. I think the only song that's not great is the Girl Worth Fighting For song.
Oh, I still love it. It's great. I don't care what you say.
But yeah.
Okay.
She saved China. I mean, come on. She's the best.
My number 3, your number 2.
Number 2. What's your number 2? Oh, okay. So we're right. We're right. Yeah. We're at the same.
So my number 2, and DJ hates me for this.
Hey, why you keep doing that?
It's Beauty and the Beast.
Making an enemy out of me. Beauty and the Beast nominated for Best Picture. Everyone loves Beauty and the Beast.
This was my Disney princess growing up. Like I wanted to be Belle. I had a dress. My mom made me a custom dress that was made of silk that I wore around everywhere. Like I just adored her. I fell in love with France, but obviously, like I mentioned, with all the other princesses and women that I've mentioned, I love that she's just like, I'm weird and I'm quirky and I read books and I don't care what you think. I'm not gonna just marry Gaston because he wants me to marry him. Like I'm gonna do what I want to do.
Well, he's also like her.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but. And like she sacrifices again herself for her family. Like I love that. And then she ends up falling in love with this beast and like seeing beyond it and seeing the soul. And I just always thought that was so romantic. So and music. Oh, I don't care what you say. This music is fantastic.
Again, I don't hate the movie. Why do you keep doing this to me?
Because I know you don't like this movie.
It did not work. It didn't.
You didn't grow up with it.
I didn't grow up with it. I've seen it once in my entire life, so I could have a better viewing on a second watch. But I watched it with you for the first time, like I said, and it didn't work for me that time. And like that story never clicked with me. I didn't like really the live action version either, until I saw Jean Cocteau's version from 1946, which I'll never need another version because that version is perfect. I've talked about that on this channel already like a couple times. I won't mention it, but yeah, I don't feel like I need another version of that story after I've seen that, but I'm glad that you love this one.
Like I really thought you would like it because it kind of has like the whole like fairy tale of like him being turned into this monster until he could learn.
Yeah,
so I thought that you would.
I have this weird thing. It's the same reason I don't like Animal Farm, George Orwell.
So different.
Because no, I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna make a connection. I love fairy tales. I can't deal with the fairy tales when it's so, I don't know how to explain
on the
it.
nose.
On the nose is a good way to put it. It's like every other character has to be made stupid to make the point. Like in Animal Farm, they're like they're so stupid. They keep getting taken advantage of, and it's like see, don't you see the point? I'm like, yes, but you can make that's why I prefer something like Lord of the Flies, where it's still allegorical, but they're real characters. Everyone in this movie is dumbed down to be like an idiot except for Belle, just to make her look better, and it drives me nuts. But anyway, now I'm digging my own grave because everyone loves this movie. I'm the only one who doesn't love this movie, but I'm so glad that you do, and I'm glad it's your number 2.
Yep, girl. Okay.
I'll do my number 1.
Okay,
you can go last. You can finish us off. Probably another surprising one. I don't know how many people remember this one or go back to this one a lot, but this is definitely the one I've gone back to the most in my life, and can't get enough of it. And I've already mentioned him on this video. A.A. Milne. Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh is my number 1. This is it. This is my absolute favorite Disney movie. Not even a Disney film. It's actually 3 shorts that they released in like the 60s and early 70s. And then in 77, they went back and filmed like extra bits, connective tissue to put the 3 shorts together into one like vignette film. And I love it. It's so good. It's such a good adaptation of the books. I mean, they changed a little thing, but it's so close, and they get the spirit of the characters, which is important. And most of the dialogue is just lifted straight from the source material. I love this. I think I've loved this even more as I've shown Judah.
Yeah,
I've shown it. He loves this one. He loves Winnie the Pooh in general. He watched like the Further Adventures, the New Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, the animated show. Also, the 2011 sequel to this. they made. And then we watched Goodbye Christopher Robin.
Oh, such a
Ugh,
good movie.
which made me even appreciate the material even more. And then I love Christopher Robin that Disney made a couple years ago. It was really good. But I don't know. This is again that same thing where it's 3 different shorts, so it's like different adventures, and each one is adapted from the original A.A. Milne stories. This is another one that I think is hilarious. Me and my brothers used to just die laughing at this. This is like more, I don't want to say slapstick, but physical comedy a lot of the time, where Boo and especially Piglet are doing hilarious things, and the animators are just like showing off in this movie because there's phenomenal animation, and there's a lot of music. It's not like a musical, but Pooh in the original stories is just like singing all the time. So they make like a lot of really good songs here and there, which are fun, especially when you have kids. I love that the characters in this are like really sassy towards each other, but they are like they get on each other's nerves, and they're not, but they're never like mean or vindictive. They're always like still
Family,
like they have that friendship that lasts, and they're like really good friends. And I think that's what they lose a little bit in the 2011 sequel. That's why I don't love that one. They're like just nasty to each other, and like Piglet, they just make Piglet really stupid in that version.
And Rabbit's so mean.
And yeah, they kind of. I like things about that 2011 movie. It's way too short, first of all. But because it's only like 1 short. This is 3 shorts. It's the perfect length. It's a perfect watch because it's separated into 3 different stories. I think it's one of the best ones to start a kid into movies with, because they can't. I mean, start them with shorts, like actual shorts first, but then if they can't sit through a full-length movie yet, then show them this, and they can like watch the first one, and then when the second one comes on, it'll completely like catch their attention again because it's a different thing. Yeah. They don't have to have a huge attention span when they're like 2. I think you can start kids watching this at 2. I think we should.
Yeah, we should try it with that one.
He's 3 now. Yeah.
But yeah, I love Pooh. I think Pooh is one of those things that you appreciate even more as an adult, because like you were saying, like the dynamic and the relationships between the characters is almost more interesting as an adult, because you can like see yourself and other people.
Well, yeah, and it's very clever, like with the fourth wall breaking stuff. When the book turns and like the narrator talks to you or talks to the characters.
This just missed my list, so I adore this movie, and I adore all things.
This is one that was like a passion project for Walt Disney. I think he really loved the books, and his kids were reading them or something, and he wanted to do an adaptation of it. So I love the form that they did it. I love that these were originally just like 15-20 minute shorts that they put in the theater, because that's where Disney started. They started with Disney cartoons in the theater, like 7 minutes. So this is like a natural extension of that, and I think this is, for me, the most rewatchable Disney movie. Like I said, I wore the VHS tape out as a kid with my brothers, and never get tired of it. My number 1 Walt Disney Animation Studios film of all time. That's crazy. Speaking
of wearing VHSs out, my number 1, I probably watched like every day as a child.
This is surprising. I didn't know. I knew you loved this.
Yeah, we had it at home, and my grandmother also had it. So like everywhere I went, I was like, I want to watch this. And it is Lady and the Tramp. I just adore like the simplicity of this movie. There's no like bad guy. I mean, I guess the Pound is the bad guy, but like the relationships with this, like the quirky neighbor dogs and Tramp, who's just kind of this wounded, burdened guy who Lady meets, and she's naive, and they kind of like teach each other through their experiences, and they kind of come together to share their experiences and be a more evened person, which I love, because I feel like so much in animated movies you're like one extreme or the other, and that's kind of how this movie starts, but then they kind of come together to realize, okay, it doesn't have to be like, I don't have to be completely on this side or completely on this side. Yeah, so
almost like Aladdin's derivative. Like so they just did that again with humans.
So I really love this movie. Also just love, like, again, dogs. I love dogs. So I love seeing like their perspective on humans, like watching a baby be born and like seeing what the dog thinks about the baby, and like,
oh yeah, it's very realistic too.
Yeah,
when the dog is, and the puppy's driving
nuts. Yeah, and it kind of gets pushed to number 2 when the baby's born. Like we saw that in with our dog, family. Yeah, and as much as we love our dog, it's just like the nature of life, and I just adore this movie. But they're still so special to you, and that's kind of like how it ends. is like they still love Lady so much, and they adopt Tramp because Lady is so special to them, and Tramp is special to Lady, and then they have all these puppies. So like clearly the dogs are still very important, but like baby still comes first. But I absolutely adore this movie. I think it's so wholesome and just beautiful, and obviously the spaghetti scene perfection.
Well, there it is, right in the corner. Iconic. But I'm with you. I love this one too.
Yeah.
I did not see this one. I actually had the only one of these I had was Lady and the Tramp 2: Scamp's Adventure.
No.
Growing up on VHS. I didn't see the original until you showed it to me. I really, really like this one. Unlike Beauty and the Beast and Pocahontas, this one did resonate with me. I love that it's just like a little slice of life film. Yeah, this one's really good. So that is our top 10s.
Yeah.
That's our number ones.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to throw out some honorable mentions?
Yeah, so I wrote down my honorable mentions just so I wouldn't forget any. I have 5. So Winnie the Pooh, as we've mentioned. Tangled, it's like the only one that I actually didn't have any like super new age stuff on my list, which I also love Frozen and stuff. But Tangled is just different to me, and I feel like it doesn't get the respect that it deserves. So I put that on my list. Emperor's New Groove.
Hilarious.
It's amazing. That era is a weird era that I feel like people just forget a lot about Disney, but I just love that was so quotable. Like I just remember being in elementary school and just like quoting pieces of that movie all the time.
That's a movie like along with Finding Nemo where I would just every single
line. I could spout out the whole thing at one point. You say being Kronk.
The early 2000s does get forgotten, but that's what I loved about they were experimenting with that and like Chicken Little and stuff. Yeah. Tangled is I feel like Tangled brought us back to the form. Even though Tangled is great. I love Tangled. I've only seen it once, but I did love it. But it brought us back to the formula, and I feel like every movie we do, at least in the early 2000s, we were.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, I feel like Frozen got like so much recognition, and yeah, it had better music than Tangled and whatever. But I feel like the story of Tangled is better than Frozen. Don't hate me.
Oh, hands down. I mean, if we're going by horses alone, like that's the best. I didn't even mention the horse in Mulan. Do you know what Mulan's
and Flynn Rider? Flynn Rider's awesome.
What is Mulan's horse's name?
No. Got an ass.
Stay tuned. We're gonna do the top 10 horses, top 10 animated horses, because I got to put
animated animals just in general.
No, we can do a whole video on just horses, because we got Altivo from Road to El Dorado. We've got Cyril from there's 2. You got Mr. Toad's horse and Ichabod Crane. Both have awesome horses that.
Another on my list is Pocahontas. We kind of mentioned that was one of my favorites growing up. Obviously, it's kind of now. But I just love it.
I don't even know.
I love the movie. Yeah, because it's like totally not the true story at all.
It's a fantasy movie.
And yeah, but still.
I've only seen that one once.
Music, love the music growing up. Love the story. Just love the strong Pocahontas woman. And love the side characters too. So love that.
They don't even talk, right? They just
they don't talk. Yeah. It's just a hummingbird and a raccoon. And then my last one, honorable mention, is Aristocats. I loved this one growing up. This was another one I watched with my grandmother all the time. Just very classic. Paris again. I loved Paris. And I loved the little kittens. They were so cute. And the whole story, it's kind of like an adventure story about being lost and like finding who you really are. Kind of deep for a kid's movie, but I appreciated it.
70s, right?
70, yeah, either early 70s, I think. Yeah, it's one of those that I don't again that I think like gets lost a lot. Not a lot of people like it, and it might be like largely nostalgia for me, but I just really love that movie. Yeah.
Well, mine are number 11. I told you, just missed my list. Number 11 is Lion King. I was gonna put it on my list just obligatory because the best one, but I wanted to get some more. So it's number 11. I also really liked Big Hero 6.
Oh gosh, that should be on my honorable mentions.
Big Hero 6 is great. Movie. Anything with brothers. I grew up with 2 brothers. Brother Bear probably wouldn't make my honorable mentions, but I like Bear too. Other honorable mentions: Treasure Planet. Have you seen Treasure Planet?
Yeah.
The montage alone where he loses his father, price of admission. But I had just read the book Treasure Island right before. Such a cool. It's like such a faithful adaptation, but it updates it with the stuff. Really cool. What else is on? Emperor's New Groove. he said. And I guess I would give a shout out to Sleeping Beauty. Sleeping Beauty is awesome. Why are we not marketing Sleeping Beauty to boys? I didn't get to see Sleeping Beauty as a kid because they just marketed it as like a princess movie.
But it's not.
And it's all about, she's like in a
She's
third
asleep
of it.
for a third.
And then it's awesome. Like, he's not Eric. What's his?
I guess
He's
like
just Prince Charming.
Yeah, Prince Charming, I think.
But he is like, he's like fighting a dragon and like all this cool
like
fantasy
thorn
stuff.
forests and stuff. It's crazy.
Yeah, I really liked.
I never watched that one as a kid because
I didn't either.
My parents never showed it to me. I don't know if they thought it was too scary or what, but
bad marketing.
But we watched it kind of recently, and I was like, "This is a really good movie."
I think that's good. I think I threw out 5 too.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing your top 10. Thanks for joining me,
Yay.
and thank you guys for watching. Please put your lists in the comments below because we love. I don't know if you read the comments, but I love reading the comments. I love talking to other people about movies. That's the reason I do this, is so that I can learn from other people and get other people's opinions. So please put your list down there. Put down any other top 10s that you would like us to do. Maybe I can bring back Grace for one of those, or one of my other friends and co-hosts that I've done these with. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. And subscribe if you want to watch more top 10 videos or more unboxings or whatever I do on this channel. Anything to do with movies. It's kind of hard to do a catch-all phrase for all of it, but anything to do with movies, I like to talk about them a lot, and I like to talk about it with you guys. So hit me up, and thank you for watching, and we will see you all soon. Oh, I will see you. Maybe she will in the next video.
All right. Bye, guys.
See you guys.